What's going on, Geminites? It's your boy GemMint. Today we're going to count down the top 10 worst superhero movies of all time. And I have a special guest that we brought on the show, Jody from Jody's Corner. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up with you, bro? How you doing? It's good to be here. Glad to be here with this collab. Let's talk about this pop culture stuff, bro. I'm ready.
Yeah, for sure. Big fan of Jody's Corner. Been watching for a minute now. Movie reviews, TV show reviews. Super passionate about the hobby and the genre. It's super honest, so definitely check out Jody's Corner. Now, this was put together based on a poll that we put up in our Facebook group, Geminites. So we made an option where you could add your own movies, you can vote on multiple movies, and this just happened to be the top 10. So if you don't agree with this list, or you want your voice to be heard, make sure to come join the Facebook group Geminites so that you can participate in these polls. Jody, you ready to jump into this list?
I am excited to see just exactly what they chose, because it's going to be, some things have to be placed in certain positions. Otherwise, there will be mayhem in the streets.
With that being said, number 10 on this list is Thor: The Dark World.
Number 10? So Thor: Dark World being number 10 means it's like the best of the worst? Is that how we're doing it? Like number 1 is the worst?
Number 1 is the worst, exactly. So this one is like not as bad as number 1.
That's tough. That's tough, bro. I think that, all right, so Thor: The Dark World was very much
of all time. Not even MCU. This is like pre-MCU, like everything.
I think that it probably should be lower on the list, closer to 1 in my opinion. And unless there's some unknown trash that we haven't hit yet, bro.
There's a lot going on this list.
Yeah, I think Thor: Dark World, just off the top of my mind, should probably be lower, but Thor's definitely Dark World's a bad Thor movie. But you know
what I like about Thor: The Dark World? That the studio realized that it wasn't working, and they called an audible. And the next Thor movie, Ragnarok, is way different than this movie, and I think that's smart. And not a lot of companies in general even do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset, bro, where even though Ragnarok is funny, yes, it's funny. Yes, it's a good comedy. But as a Thor movie, that's the worst Thor movie, bro. I'll take Dark World as a Thor movie over Ragnarok.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So what about the Dark World? Is it a timing thing? Is it hard to follow up? This is post Avengers, correct?
Yeah, this is post Avengers. Thor: Dark World suffers because it was boring. It was terribly written. The story didn't make sense. It was lagging at certain points. Jane Foster was shoehorned throughout this entire story to the point where the fans no longer wanted to be Thor fans.
And what about the whole, like, I can't help feeling, where are the Avengers? You have this realm merger thing at the end, and it's like, where is everybody else at?
Well, I guess that's normal though, because the same thing happened with Iron Man and Iron Man 3. Bro, they just blew your house up. You almost died. Where are your homies at? But I get it. That's when you tell the solo story, you gotta, let the hero be on their own. So I ain't really tripping off that. The fact that it was a boring Thor movie is its ultimate travesty, in my opinion.
Gotcha. All right, so well deserved to be on the list, you would say.
Heck yeah, it might need to be up there, higher, like lower to closer to 1. Shoot.
All right, so let's move on to number 9. So I didn't want to pull a Rotten Tomatoes and start removing votes and all that kind of stuff. This is what the people voted as number 9 in the top 10 worst superhero movies, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, man. You're going to find there's going to be a hard case for you to convince me that somehow there are 8 movies that are worse than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel left a really bad taste in my mouth, bro. Captain Marvel, in my opinion, is the worst movie of the MCU, right next to Ant-Man and the Wasp. And Captain Marvel, it's a film that insulted male fans. Its press tour was trash. Her costume is garbage. The hero's garbage. The backstory's garbage. You took a piss on the Avengers, how the Avengers even came up. Took a piss on Nick Fury's name. He got his scratch from his eye from a freaking cat, bruh. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the retcons were crazy in that movie. It had a lot of off-screen drama that didn't help it. My biggest thing was it really wasn't needed. You didn't need to give her whole origin for that scene and that role that she played in Endgame. I think it would have been fine to just skip it all together. So, man, yeah, like you said, a lot of issues with the movie. Nick Fury completely out of character, and not to mention kind of a generic origin story. It didn't really break any boundaries. It didn't do anything, and it was kind of a waste of a movie.
Yeah. At the end of the day, and this shit made $1 billion. Ain't that crazy? This movie made $1 billion.
Hey, you know what I always say when that happens? It's good for the hobby. Like, let's keep this ball rolling. If it bombed, that's really gonna hurt the overall long run of this game. So, hey, at least they didn't lose money. All right, number 8 on the list. This is a movie that I saw. I couldn't even remember what happened. This is Ghost Rider 2, and I don't even remember what. Is there a subtext title to this movie?
A Spirit of Vengeance?
Is it Spirit of Vengeance?
I think it's Spirit of Vengeance. Yeah.
I remember this movie just being so dull. I remember the villains were forgettable. The whole plot was just. Was there some kind of like talent show thing happening on like a stage at the end?
This Ghost Rider 1 was so bad that I saw the trailers for Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. I was contemplating going to go see it. I never went to go see it, and I never went to go see it after it came out in theaters. I have never seen it.
You've never seen this movie?
No, I have not. How I remember the name, I don't know.
It was bad. It was a joke movie. Like it was like a straight to video, straight to DVD type of flick, man. So I can see why this was on here. It was pretty whack. Number 7 on the list. I can totally agree with this movie being on this list. I'm kind of where you were with Thor: The Dark World. I felt like this one should be higher up. It's Iron Man 3.
Yeah, Iron Man 3. Yeah, that was the thing about Iron Man 3, bruh, is that film was going to be good. It was starting off really good and dark. The Mandarin, there's nowhere you could go. There's nowhere you could hide from your attack dogs. No one can save you. The Mandarin was fire, bruh. And then it did that third act, second act switcheroo. And then that threw the freaking movie down the totem pole. All those Iron Man suits getting destroyed like paper mache to the fire hand dudes. Just a trash movie, man. Yeah, definitely deserves its place on this list.
It was too much. You know, it suffers from Robert Downey Jr. not being in the Iron Man armor for a majority of the movie. You had him and the kid aspect, which I wasn't really a fan of. Like you said, the Mandarin it was one of those twists. You definitely didn't see it coming. You can't argue that. But, you know, Mandarin is arguably one of his most deadliest villains. And to play him off as a joke was kind of disrespectful to the source material. And then the Extremis thing, I like how they included it, but I didn't like how, what is it? What's his name? Killian?
The guy that Guy Pearce played?
I think it was Killian. Kill something. But anyway, he ends up becoming the real Mandarin. I don't know. It was all over the place. And it was another one. It was a direct follow-up from Avengers. And I was like, what? The bar was set so high, and then this movie came through, and it kind of just shattered the expectations.
And here's another movie that, trash although it be, made a 1.2 or 1.3 billion dollars in the box office, bruh. Like, these bad movies making billions of dollars just off the fact that they're MCU films that are slated in the slot at a really precision place to make that amount of money. Captain Marvel came after Infinity War. Everybody wanted to see Infinity War. Iron Man 3 came after the greatest moment in superhero film history, Avengers 1. They wanted to see Iron Man 3. Both end up sucking.
Yeah, you gotta admire the strategic placing of these movies. They played it safe, and it worked out for the studio. But yeah, huge letdown.
I think I might disagree with you on the list on this one. I do disagree. Captain Marvel's worse than this movie. Captain Marvel should be beneath this movie for sure. That's how I feel.
Captain Marvel, yeah, you felt it's the worst of all the MCU.
Yeah, unless Ant-Man 3's on here, then that's the worst MCU film, Captain Marvel.
All right, we'll have to see if it makes the list. So what do we have here? Number 6 on the list. Now, I know you're a DC guy, right?
I'm a DC guy, yeah.
Number 6 on the list, Batman v Superman.
That should be lower, in my opinion. That's the film that made me a Marvel fan, bro. My history goes real deep to this film. I hate BVS. I hate it because it's Superman done wrong. I hate it because it's Batman done wrong. I hate the tone. I hate the way the Snyderverse was. You know, even though Man of Steel, Snyder did a really good job with Man of Steel. I saw where he was doing Superman, but BVS was a huge misstep. For the one time in film history that every comic book here, even a Marvel guy like yourself, probably would have said, oh, Batman and Superman for the first time on screen? Sign me up. I got to go see that. And it only made like $873 million worldwide. That's a tremendous fail compared to the film that it was. And this is the movie, BVS, that ruined the DCEU at its core.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you have the biggest superheroes of all time, Batman and Superman. This movie should have done $2 billion. And I am a Marvel fan at heart, right? But even I was like, why are you doing this movie instead of Man of Steel 2? Why are you rushing this shared universe to try to catch up with Marvel? Just do your own thing. Every time DC does their own thing, they kill it. Dark Knight trilogy, Joker. But when they try to conform with like Suicide Squad or Justice League or BVS, it feels like they're trying to be something that they're not. And it shows.
I'll even add a couple more movies to that list about them doing their own thing. Like you said, Joker, the Dark Knight trilogy, 3 films. V for Vendetta, which in my opinion is the greatest comic book movie ever made. I even have that above The Dark Knight. V for Vendetta is telling the future 15 years ago. I mean, today. If you watch V for Vendetta today, you'll be surprised at just how on point they are during this pandemic time.
So I read it and watched it for the first time last year. I did reviews on them, and yeah, that movie rings true to this day. All right, so let's go number 5 on the list. It just kind of got a little honorable mention, but here it is, Justice League.
Nah, man, BVS is definitely worse than Justice League for sure. Justice League is a mess. Justice League is a mess. It is very messy. The story's garbage. The Steppenwolf doesn't work. It's jumbled together. The tone, the look of it. It's two different directors trying to have their swag on. But here's where Justice League shines, in my opinion. They got Superman right. That was the first time I saw Superman in the way that he is. Wonder Woman looked better. I liked Aquaman was okay, but it's the hero team. When the team was together interacting with one another, I'm sitting back and I'm watching them, and I'm like, okay, this is epic. Besides that, Justice League is a total failure, but BVS is still worse.
Totally agree with you. Steppenwolf was a huge mistake. They were trying to save Darkseid. They should have just brought Darkseid out to give it a chance. He was super lame. The thing that I didn't like about Superman, I feel like they botched the return of Superman. They should have given him the black costume, maybe even the longer hair. I would have been able to live without the long hair with the 90s mullet. But they should have done the black suit costume, especially when he's fighting them. That would have looked so much better, would have made so much more sense. I don't know if I agree with you on if that's the Superman. I guess I do like how powerful he is at the end. It's kind of like, it's not even a fight for him, you know? Which, I don't know, that's kind of a pro and a con for me.
Well, he came back evil, you know, confused, not evil, confused about who he was, you know, did the whole thing where he fought the Justice League real quick. But I like that. The traditional Superman of essence of hope, the bright side, come to me for help. I'm always down. Even the way he was speaking and his mannerisms were different. I really like that Superman once he started to come into his own in Justice League. It really touched me.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to number 4 on the list. This is a pre-MCU movie, a pre-DCEU movie. It's kind of a guilty pleasure.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
It's Batman and Robin.
Oh, I do not know what it is.
With Poison Ivy, with Bane.
Oh, Schwarzenegger?
No, that yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah.
That's Mr. Freeze, man. What? Oh, come on, man. Stall him out. That's a good 90s cheesy bad movie. That's a good bad movie. That should...
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a good bad movie. It's like I said, it's a guilty pleasure movie. If you're taking yourself serious, it's trash. But if it's campy and it's like in the vein of Adam West, like boing zoing, all that kind of stuff, then it's fun.
I like that. I don't think it should be on this list. I disagree. I disagree with this one, man. That Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze was fire, dude. Like that. Even though he's a very chill.
What about the puns? That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Bruh, it's tight. Even the doctor pun. Take 2 of, help me find the cure to McGregor stage 2. Here, take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
You're a DC guy. How about Bane? You like the portrayal of Bane?
Trash. Bomb.
Uma Thurman did her thing as Poison Ivy, though.
Yeah, she was good too. I don't know. I don't think it should be here, man.
Yeah, this is a movie you can just click on and just laugh and have fun. You don't have to take it too serious. You don't have to nitpick it. It's just some dumb, goofy movie, and it's entertaining. All right, let's go number 3 on the list. Another pre-MCU movie. This is Elektra. Elektra deserves to be on this list. This movie was boring. I think Elektra, what is it, Jennifer Gardner?
Yeah.
I think she's the worst part of the Daredevil movie, and how that spawned into its own movie is crazy.
I think Elektra suffers for the most part, not because of its acting. I just think it was cheesy in the worst ways possible. It's technological execution, direction, choreography, fighting choreography. It was just all off, and it wasn't viable to me. But I like the story. I like the story of Elektra. The idea of Elektra. It's just the way they executed it didn't work. Plus, that was what, 2003, 2004, something like that?
Yeah, this is early 2000s. I mean, there's definitely room for a dope Elektra movie. If you take like a Frank Miller aspect, if you take an Assassin, The Hand. I mean, they did Elektra pretty good in the Daredevil Netflix shows. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is just one of those movies. It's kind of not even grouped in with when you think of superhero movies or comic book movies. It's kind of like, oh yeah, they did make that Elektra movie.
Yeah, Jennifer Gardner kind of sullied herself with that one, but I would have to see that again to see how it holds up. But I remember Elektra being bad, but everything that I remember from Elektra, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad. But Captain Marvel offended me. It offended me to my core. I still think Captain Marvel is a worse movie than Elektra.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, some of these movies were really invested in, like even like Batman v Superman, and Elektra was one of those movies. Like when I watched it back whenever it came out, I was just like, oh, well, that was kind of whack, and didn't even think about it anymore. That was it, you know. So
because let's think about it, Elektra tried to be good. It had effort. It would really try to be a good movie, just wasn't. Captain Marvel feels like I deserve to be here. Like I'm just showboating like a motherfucker. Like what's happening? I'm Captain Marvel. You know, y'all know about me. And I'm like, nah, I just offended me. All
right, let's go to number 2. This one, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I definitely think this is a good spot, man. The Fantastic Four reboot, Fan-4-Stick, 2015 Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty accurate in my opinion. Trash thing. What that fool say at the end of the movie? We're fantastic. Oh.
I remember what was Thing at the end. He was like some government weapon that they dropped out of a plane or something, and like, yeah,
the way they got their powers.
The way they got their powers. It just they had no respect to the source material. It's like they didn't care. Doom. I mean, there was a glimmer of hope when he came out. Kind of, he had like this kill spree when he came out of the negative zone.
It looked promising in the first 20 minutes or so, but once I started to see how these characters start taking left field and the unapologeticness of the trashness of this movie is what really took it down. And then the director later on came out and said, look, that ain't me. Everybody was interfering. Yeah, this is trash.
He came out with like a nervous breakdown type rant after that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
On how he had he had no control or so. Who's the director of that? I don't even remember his name. The guy who did Chronicle.
Yeah, that guy.
Chronicle was a good movie though.
Chronicle was fire.
All right, number 1 on the list. I think everyone's expecting this. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, man. So number 1 on the list is Halle Berry's Catwoman.
What is this list? Superhero movies?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Do you think it doesn't even fall into that category? It's Catwoman. It's DC Comics.
I don't think it falls into the category. I think that it's a technicality. I don't even think she should even be on this list because of the technical. She's not a superhero. It's not even a comic book movie. Yeah, all right, I can see her here. Catwoman's bad. It's cheesy. It's cringy. It makes me when she starts to purring, when she starts to act. I'm shocked that Halle Berry is a good freaking actress because she did those lines and she acted like that and she didn't feel bad. I would have stopped mid scene. You know what? Cut. I can't do this. She did that shit, bruh. I don't know about number 1, but it's bad for sure.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. Yeah, you're right. There becomes some kind of gray lines, right? With should this even be there? Almost like Batman and Robin, you know. But I mean, for a comic book based movie, for a superhero movie, it has an origin. She becomes enhanced powers. There's a villain. What is the villain? The head of a cosmetics line, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone, right?
Sharon Stone, the villain.
Wow, man. You have good actresses in here, too, but it's a cheesy-ass movie. And you know what's tough? Halle Berry, I mean, look, she was Storm. She's a great actress. She did a lot of great movies, easy on the eyes. But you tried to do this character. You didn't do it better than Michelle Pfeiffer.
It's hard to see that anybody could do it better than Michelle Pfeiffer, to be honest.
Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman origin was scary as hell. I remember being a kid and being like, man, this is freak out. And then the scene where she flips with the meow when the explosion, incredible.
Right, with her hands up like this. Yeah, that was fire. I remember her and Sharon Stone had a cat fight at the end, a legitimate cat fight. That's what it reminded me of. Like this. Oh, the edits. Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, I can see this as number 1. If it falls in the category, right? If this categorizes as a superhero movie, then yes. This is, I'm remembering the cuts. I'm remembering the choreography, the edit scenes, the terrible CG. This was very much a bad movie. I got so much enjoyment off of how bad it was. It's kind of hard for me to be like, is it? But if we're keeping it a buck and being unbiased, Catwoman is probably the worst comic book movie ever made.
Yeah, I'm not mad at where it placed on the list. I thought it was a fun list. I don't think it was really that blasphemous. I think we could agree on bad movies better than we can agree on what good movies are, right? So this was a fun list. I appreciate everyone in the Facebook group who voted. Want to thank Jody from Jody's Corner for coming on. Make sure to go check out his channel, the movie reviews. What are you doing? You do like Netflix reviews and such?
Everything, movie, anything pop culture. It's the channel for all pop culture.
Marathon live streams. What are you still doing the 6-7 hour streams?
Yeah, I still do it. Well, we just came off of a 4.5-hour. We don't do the 8 hours no more as much. More like 3 to 5 hours max. That's what we do every Monday and Friday, and Wednesday's a debate show. So yeah.
Super fun, very engaging live chat over there. A lot of people watching live. Make sure to check them out. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel as well. Hit that notification bell if you enjoyed this video. Hit the like and comment down below. What are another type of poll type list that you guys want to see, and we'll try to make it happen. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Jody.
For sure.
Stay minty fresh. Peace.